Taking a look. Come on. I'm tossing around the idea, because my day is like this anyway, of being live all day. Not that I would be here all day, but I'd have a live stream going all day, even if there'd be an empty chair for half of it. Um, then, I'd be in for certain moments and doing things. I'm sort of tossing around. I'm playing around with live streaming software. So that might be cool. Obviously, it's easy for you guys to say, yeah, do it. It's no skin off your back. But it's really no skin off my back either, just to have a live stream up. 90% of the time, 80% of the time, no, 85 to 95% of the time, I am indeed here all day, in and out of the office, looking at how everything's going, seeing if there's any interesting opportunities, making sure I'm on top of everything that I'm either holding or that we could grab. This holo was interesting. Okay, let's see. Had a big day yesterday. How about that? 29 cents. So 30 cents would be risk to stop right now. It's almost, 60 cents. That's about 30 cents of risk. So maybe I could grab that holo. Actually, it has not done too well off of every rally. Small caps today are not too good. So I'll try to grab. There, I'm in. Bring, went in the earphone. I'm in holo, risk to stop at 30 cents. And I'm in Lunar Evoc PRFX. No, I'm not in Evoc. I got out of that. But both PRFX and Evoc both settled in. Oh, and there goes Lunar. It's just kind of what I expect. I was thinking Lunar might not really happen today, just because of where it sits on the chart and how weak it's been. But I was thinking maybe because of the recent earnings, maybe it could do it, but it's starting to look less promising here. Polo has a fat chance in hell, but the reward on that fat chance is pretty good. That fat chance in hell. De-risk a little bit on Lunar right here on that drop as it pops back up. Just a tad. Is it a shakeout? Let's see, Lunar. Is it going to be a shakeout? Let's see if I can see 497 or so, 495, 497 or so. That might give me enough confidence to stay in. No, I see it kind of weakened. So I'm going to take another piece off. Good measure. There we go. So I'm only at about 80% size now on Lunar. The market's dropping. That must have been off of 9 o'clock news, because why is it all dropping simultaneously? Let's see if it's coming in any particular sector. No, not really. And by the way, we do have FOMC. I believe it's tomorrow at 2. Yeah, I believe it's tomorrow. What would be funny is if you guys didn't hear a thing I said this whole time I was muted. CDU, yeah, we were all over CDU yesterday. Let's see. CDU just had a spike. Oh yeah. Do I have any left? I think I cut it yesterday. CDU. I don't have any left. I traded it yesterday. Today's trades are not going good. Evoc is cracking down more. EuroFX is kind of doing an Evoc. I mean, On Sea you'd have to, oh, this is an earnings based move on Sea. I'm not interested. Oh, it is? Well, maybe they said that during their earnings call. Um, hmm, reading that about that here. Lots and lots of good news for the day, but will it sustain further forward? See, that's the only thing that will sustain a move is if it was unusual. Let's see, that's probably not the best word. Well, I'll just say like unique and unusual news. And a positive earnings release with lots of good things to say is not unusual. They have lots of those. See the green E's here? They have lots of those. So this is not going to be enough to sustain a blueprint, a small cap blueprint. Good morning, Randy. There you go. Boom. So, and this is, by the way, yesterday was pretty much parabolic and then fail for half of that. Kind of looks like the parabolic topping tail. So yeah, I have many reasons to stay away from Sea-Doo this morning and just look for some fresh meat. Hawaiian Airlines is up 11%. That's got to be earnings also. Hawaiian. Well, they're going to be bought. It looks like an acquisition the way this looks. What's going on? Hawaiian, that would be amazing, really. Hawaiian Holdings stock, the Alaska Air deal is proceeding at pace. Oh, I did not know that they're going to be bought. That's interesting. That's cool. Oh, Alaska Air and Hawaiian are going to merge. Dude, that's so perfect. They should have been merged all along. That is a nice merger. I like that one. Good. I applaud that one. MLGO, TGL. Let's check out TGL. Funny, it's going in my squawk right now. No, but I mean, I was just looking at it right here. Up 177%. Is it a split? Why is it up so much? Well, all right. I think I'll take a little risk on that. TGL. Risk to what? That's the thing. A pretty strong bounce at 122. I'll just take it to one. So 70 cents of risk. Grab some right here as it's perking up. Boom, I'm in. Stop for me is $1. A lot of day traders or beginners and beginner intermediate, and then a few intermediates, would make the decision wrong here to put your stop at 140, right underneath this bottom section here. Number one, that's incorrect pivot point reading. It should be 124. But number two, this pivot at 124 it never made a higher high after that. So this pivot is not put in. And so day traders will read that wrong. And so the real stop is technically the real stop is down here at 62 cents. But since it had such a nice scoop up, pick up back over VWAP, some strength there. I'm going to use that pivot. So I'm sort of meeting it halfway at 120. And then in my mind, though, 120 is a nothing. It doesn't mean anything. That's not a number. So that's why I put it at one. I mean, that's how you reach that most prudent, the wisest stop. I sneezed in the middle of there. Good morning, Colby. All right, so now TGL, let's put that on all of ours as well. You can see we're watching a couple of opportunities. See, now PRFX is starting to do that bailout that I was talking about. So I'm going to try and de-risk over there on PRFX. Now, Lunar is perking back up and around. So I like that. I mean, I'm glad I de-risked and I only de-risked a tiny bit because it never did break that pivot over here. But if it can get over 510, like I said before, 510 is the magic number here right now at the way the chart is made, is forming. And there goes TGL. I'm already up a bit just on that little retracement type of move on TGL and Lunar. TGL and Lunar doing the same thing at the same time. But all right, yeah, I took first profits on TGL already. Over on Lunar, I'm at my break even. 510 is my break even. So right now I'm just hanging out in that position. TGL, I just got in at 165 or 164 down here, and it keeps moving. Looks like it wants to attempt to break flop. I'll probably take out another piece at 179 if it gives it to me. And then another piece at 184. Another piece at 187, which I'll just make 189. Another piece. I'm taking tiny pieces off. 192, 194. So that would have me, by the time it gets to 2, if that's what it's going to do eventually here, I'll be 1/3 out. That's a little slow. So I'm going to take another piece out somewhere in there. $193. All right. Okay, so that's TGL. Tan H. Yeah, totally faded. Milgo. Micro Algo. It has had pops before that mostly fade. It might have an exciting day and then they mostly fade after that. But that's typical. That's typical. When we talk about that penny stocking framework, we talk about how you're lucky to get one day, maybe two out of these things. And it's those multi-day runners that are really exceptional. But you got to plan to be out pretty quickly. But BTBT, that's a Bitcoin related ticker, I believe. TTNP, I already looked at earlier. Hawaiian Airlines and EVOC. There we go. ASNS, EVOC, TTNP, Hollow VSIG. I think it was moving yesterday. It came across my attention. No, nothing super duper going on there. TGL, Holo W, the warrants, Milgo, NDRA. Lunar now making its way up to the 510 level I was talking about. Hell no on NDRA. That's just because of the split. Lunar warrants also moving. Carl loves those warrants. 10HNNE SS Doi. Shiseido company. And no, it's not. Okay, I just got to exit on something. What was that? Oh, it was TGL. TGL is making some further progress. Very good, very good. Finally, Neon. I know, and I see Zap, I think also. Neon on the volume, Zap. Nothing really going on there. We have 11 minutes before the market opens. Pita, Maxon, Pita, Pita. Okay, so that looks a little interesting in that even though it's below VWAP, I'd like to keep an eye on that. That's just a ton of volume. Just great. And more to me, I'm talking about when I talk about volume in the day trading sense, I'm talking about liquidity and I'm talking about um, number of trades. Like it doesn't make a difference if it was just one dude trading all the volume. Not interested in that. HNS Max and Holo, TGL, MGLO, Futu. Futu's been a pretty useless stock for the last like 2 years to trade. Nope, nothing there. And I think that pretty much does it. Jafer. Take a look at the market. It's not Jafer. What is it then? Oh, JFBR. And Squawk says CDU. It's moving GRI. Not enough volume, but there's definitely something going on GRI. Been going on and just hasn't filled in with volume, so we'll leave it alone. CDU. Let's take another look at CDU. Yeah, that pop, and then I'm fairly skeptical about that CDU is going to follow through in any substantial way, because when we're going after these opportunities, we're looking for unprecedented. That's the word. That's the best word. And that's what did I say before? I said unusual and unique. I think unprecedented is probably a better word. So something unprecedented is happening. Well, they never got a Navy contract before. Yeah, you don't know that. You go back and look. um, it's not just that, it's also the fact that it's not that unprecedented for price to be where it is, or unprecedented for it to be spiking. And that was on earnings as well today. So, and that's not unprecedented for it to move on earnings. So, however, that said, was a huge volume that it traded yesterday before earnings. So somebody knew something. The last time it had such good volume was February, kind of like basically March. So again, it's not super unprecedented again. So that is why. That's my reasoning there. All right, time to get all out of PRFX. It looks like, boom, I'm all out. And that was at about just over half to my stop. Mitigated out of that quite nicely. All right, so we'll take a look at the market. Okay, so the S&P 500, which includes value stocks, is nearly back to all-time highs. And if we go to value, that would be SPY-V. We're basically at all-time highs in value stocks. So like safe stocks and safe companies that have been around forever, like Campbell Soup, McDonald's, Coca-Cola, Verizon, AT&T, value stocks, companies like that, Procter and Gamble, uh, they are having no problem. They're just moving right along. In fact, today they're basically the highest stock price they've ever been. So that tells you about the economy, the state of the economy. The value stocks, the safety stocks, those defensives, the staples, those are the vertebrae, the backbone of the stock market. That's the found. They're not going to go anywhere that Earth's not going. They're going to go where Earth's going. You know what I'm saying? Like that's they have no reason to disappear. Everybody needs those companies. So we don't pay attention to that. We go over to QQQ, and to really understand the state of the 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 side of the market that could move. Oh, I'm getting suddenly like a back, not like a spasm, but a pre-spasm. I'm about to throw out my back. What the hell? Oh, all right. There's no support on the chair. That might help. I gotta preemptively be careful here, or I'll be like, ah! Live. So what was I saying? So anyway, so it's growth. We look at growth and we pay attention to growth. Growth tells us if any expansion can be counted on. The value stocks, they're going to go up along with population growth, along with the efficiency of mankind, which is, the inflation rate of mankind, which is about 2%, 2.25% per year. But growth stocks have periods where there's this liquid pool of ability to borrow money to push innovation, and we're nearing the precipice of the beginning of that period, and yet we've been front running it for about a year now. Maybe it's been a year and a half. I'd have to go back and look. Yeah, I think it's been almost a year and a half now. We've been front running this moment where we're going to start lowering rates, and that's just going to kick off the innovation growth cycle. And the market's just been front running that, including probably potentially a Trump presidency, a fiscally responsible presidency, and that would be good for businesses. So growth, even though it's way up and everything's going on, that's only just the beginning. Hasn't even started yet. Once we get those first rate cuts, then the business cycle truly begins. Right now, it's front running, it's preemptive positioning, and that comes with more risk. So only the biggest companies can do that kind of preemptive positioning. But probably the smaller companies uh, do it at a higher rate, though, of doing it, because it's very dangerous, and you'd have to. And so those companies could get wiped out. Why is it dangerous? Because what if something else happens? That's the problem. So you don't, you want to be careful how you preempt it, how you preempt, and how you front run, and how you prepare uh, for an upcoming business cycle as a company. Because while you're um, pinning your hopes and dreams on that a business cycle is going to begin soon, and that times are going to be cheery and rosy, there could be, a war, geopolitics, recession could occur because of something snaps. Hair, what do they say? Camel's back, something. Anyway, and then it could be anything. So they have to watch out. So anyway, we are like 2.5 weeks into an extended rally off of the yen drop, and we really haven't fully retraced off of the yen drop, but the full yen worries, started, well, even before there. Most of this drop was the yen carry trade risk on the market, and it was completely overreacted. Obviously, as you could see, you could have held for 2.5 weeks and you'd be exactly where you were. It was a pimple in the grand scheme of things. There's nothing, and it's gone. And so the market wants to keep going, but only the largest of money can average in up here, can be adding or entering or allocating capital up at the top of this extended run. However, this is semi also just simply retrace of the global margin call from the yen carry risk trade. So, the smart money is probably thinking, well, there's no reason we're going to be going back down there again. So we might as well just in general just go ahead and start allocating the capital. And so that's what's going on. But I do believe at some point we'll get a healthy pullback. The market just still will need to breathe and rest, and that could last a week and then base for a month. But that's in store before we get to all-time highs on the growth market. Now, the S&P 500 is going to help the growth market along because it's about to break out to new all-time highs along with value stocks. And so when it does that, that headline is going to move things a little bit everywhere. That headline will push things along, which is great, because even on pullback in the growth market, it'll add a little support. So we're in a good place on the market, but we're very extended. We say long in the tooth. Market opens in 1 minute. I take it with caution, but put credit spread if you can find the chart looking right, we'll be just fine. So if understand our put cred trading system, uh, all of those that you could find would probably be just fine. All right, I'm going to start watching everything that we're day trading here. We're trying to day trade into anything that might become a swing trade. I mean, that's kind of the line of attack. Here we go. So the market opens in 15 seconds. Hello. I'm not sure if I saw that. I have 3 seconds to take a look. Hello. Yeah, it's already been off and running. All right. Bing, bing, bing. Here comes the market. There it is. Market's open, depending on how much delay on this feed is. All right. Lunar with a sharp drop right after you open, taking profits. I expected that because there's been about a month of buying going on and bottoming. So there's a lot of take profits going on Lunar. However, that probably will bottom and then sentiment will continue at least once during the open market. I will just snag another 10% of shares down here for my cost average. Get my cost average down just a hair. Actually, yeah, it took it down a good 3 cents. That's good. Okay, watching for PRFX, possible perk up on that one. We're coming up to the 1 minute opening range breakout entries on EVOC and PRFX. I don't really believe in either of them. They did pretty shitty pre-market PRFX and EVOC, but maybe a trade can come. No, Holo, I'm going to go ahead and flatten out of that just preventatively. The market is jumping on the first 2 minutes of the open market. It is moving. And I'm just going to quickly check outside of everything we're watching here. Well, actually, PETA is moving. Okay, I got to get some PETA. So excuse me while I kiss the sky. Okay. Okay. All right. Got PETA. Risk to stop at 3. Probably a little bit too aggressive on the stop. I probably needed to make it 250 or $2 for the stop just to be careful. It's pretty easy for it to come touch 3. In the meantime, Lunar has picked up, like I was talking about. It's got to make it one attempt, and this is that attempt. Will it follow through, or will it just roll over? I think it will follow through because it had a good earnings report recently, and I think it's going to be on the FOMO end side of things. Depends. It depends on how cautious Lunar investors want to be. That includes institutionals. PRFX is fully fading. TGL with a nice move off of the open. TGL. Where's TGL? I don't have TGL up here. Here it is. TGL. Now, if TGL gets above like 180, that's a nice little pivot break above WAP 80. This would be nice. We're already in it. If you wanted to be in it, risk to stop should be like $1.25, if not $1. Stop. All right, there goes PETA. PETA continuing. And PureFX is a fading red. All right, let's see if anything else comes to the fore this morning. We're about 55, 60% green off of the open in growth stocks. They're not moving that much though. And I'm already in some of the winners. App and Tesla moving. Take a quick look at App. The bigger scheme of things. Yeah, it looks all right. Tesla, that's good for a put credit spread, by the way. App. Tesla extended. It's long in the tooth. TGL keeps going. Holo still acting bad. Pita moving. Pita has the potential to get to 4 at least. So I'll be taking a chunk out just underneath 4, setting that exit now. Morning, Ben. See, Eva, can you TTM Neon continues to be of interest. Let's take a look at how it looks now. Yeah, it's just too thin, too thinly traded. Yeah, that's a wonderful jump. That's great and all. Doesn't have a great track record and a bit sketchy uh, amount of liquidity. All right, Neon STI. No, wait, that couldn't be it. Straight Times Index. No. Solidian Technology. That's the one. That one's Perkin. Where is the price on this? What the? Wait, 36 cents. Okay. Oh, this is the day. Gotcha. I'm gonna try some of this STI. Uh, 15 cents of risk. What was that? I just got a target on. I just got a sale on something. Uh, I'm not getting enough fill on STI. Okay, there we go. And I want one more portion, but I'm gonna let it pull back. It looks like it wants to pull back. Getting some size on STI. Okay, now what just sold? I got an exit on UAMY. That's something that we've been in for a few days. Look at that. Woo wee. Let me show you this trade. That's what I'm talking about, right, Michael? That's the framework right there. High volume that wasn't earnings, was several days later. Breakout, reversal, boom, and set your stop, get your entry, and look at that puppy fly. And where am I now? I'm up 30% on that. And I'd have to go check my original size. I have all my take profits set on that. So those are just transpiring on their own. But I think I'm probably close to half out on that swing trade. Yeah. Let's go monitor everything we're in for a second, make sure everything's okay. Getting a bit of a drop on that PETA. Not too nice. I think I'll de-risk a little bit on PETA if it's going to act like that. That's quite a retrace. Yeah. Oops. Oh, great. I just bought. It did not buy, did it? Oh, it did. Who does that? It's to everybody. Even when you are a seasoned veteran, you can click the wrong button every now and then. Anyway, now I got to de-risk. I'm trying to de-risk on PETA. There we go. De-risk a little, not completely. And there it goes, $1.80. It broke TGL broke $1.80. I believe I got some exit on that. Yes, I got some more exit on TGL. I have that priced all the way up to $2. I have my exits priced all the way up to $2 on TGL. QQQ, very good. Ooh, TEM, a growth stock, which I've not heard of. TEM is up 5% from the open alone. That's a pretty strong movement. Oh yeah, this thing's a recent IPO, AI related IPO, and flying. Boy, I'm gonna put this on our watch list. This is not a growth stock. Okay, I got to flatten out of PETA. This is not a growth stock necessarily. Well, of course it is, but it's extremely young. It's only like a couple months old, and what it really is an IPOU breakout. And boy, has it moved. The breakout level was 47, or really 44, 47, and now it's 61. You Can't get in now with any reasonable risk reward. But we need to watch that for a pullback at some point to get in for some more. All right. There goes TGL further. It's slapping 188 right now. So it's gonna, I mean, the way it's pressing it. Oh, it halted. Nice. TGL halted at 188. So it seems like hitting two is going to be a no-brainer. So all right, good deal over there. Lunar pulling back, kind of having a hard red candle right now. I'm going to kind of flatten out of that. It's just having too much trouble. There's been just too many problematic moments. So I'm flattening out of that, and I'm out. And maybe I'll get it above 510. We'll keep an eye on it. Hopefully, I won't miss it. But yeah, that's something you could think about too. Uh, the SOND continues to be a bit of a sore spot. Actually, from the open, it's moving up. So I'm going to let that gestate a little bit. NCNA is down kind of strong on high projected volume. So I'm going to go ahead and flatten out of that. Don't need that risk. You need risk, but I don't need that risk. I don't need that one. There, I'm gone. I'm out of that. STI, which I'm still in, is still just revving up. And TGL, I'm up 15% on. And that's the one that's halted. All right. Move all those to the right spots in my portfolio monitor. Let's see if anything else is percolating up to the surface here. It looks like it's all the same ones that we thought pre-market, nothing new. Marvol Pops, Neon, and STI. Oops, not that one. This one, Solgion Technology, TTNP, STI. TTNP is moving off of that open pretty strong. Maybe risk to stop at $3 a risk, TTNP. $3 a risk, I said? Yeah, okay. Excuse me, let me check something. GBBK FFI just resumed from a halt. FFIE, GBBK, they're from a halt down. Global blockchain. Okay, both of those are not good. There's nothing too liquid going on over there. App ANF, that's Abercrombie and Fitch. Okay, what was that? Just got a sale on something, or let's see. Oh no, that was TTMP. I got my trade entry on TTMP. Oh no, yeah, TGL just came out of the halt to $1.94. I did get one exit, two or three. I got two or three exits just now as TGL just blasted through the halt. And now I have no more open orders. And so we got to watch on TGL. And so we're going to watch and see how this thing flies and be looking to put in some more exits. 209 would be one. And once it gets out of there, talking 238, and then it starts flying. So it's got to chop through some resistance here, but it's getting close to flying. And then of course 249 and then 259. And then let's see what it does from there. 249, then 259. So I'll put 248 and then 239, did I say? 59. Okay. 58. There we go. All right. So that'll leave me a little bit over $2.60 to see where that goes. At the moment, the TGL trade is up 30%. Pretty okay. TTMP, we'll see if we can follow through. Lunar, a little bit more difficult of a trade to get in. PETA bouncing before the stop of 3. I don't really trust that. It looks very backsidey on PETA, the way that happened here. This looks like shelf. Yeah. Dilution. This looks like dilution coming in. 213 is it halted again? Oh, TGL is halted again. Fantastic. Up at 213. So TGL just slammed the ask and has halted again. TGL, there must just not be very many outstanding shares on this one. 10 million float, and it's doing it's projected, it's already did $62 million in trading, which is roughly 30 million shares have traded, and has a 10 million float. So the float is rotated 3 times. So this is extremely heavy trading, patty cake type of situation, hot potato type of situation on TGL. It's like, when I say patty cake, it's like if you were building out of matchsticks or house of cards or something, but matchsticks might be better. Or in ants, how ants build a structure on themselves. They use themselves to reach a higher height, right? And then a guy comes from behind and he gets up there, and the guy comes from behind and he gets up there. Eventually, you run out of people to hold it at the high price, and then the whole thing just collapses. Can you imagine that? So that's kind of like, this is what happens when you get float rotations at this level. This is a 300% float rotation. These are people just handing shares back to each other. They're like, I'd pay $1.80 for this, and the other guy's like, here, take my shares, and then it goes up to $2, and then that same guy that gave him the shares says, hey, I'd pay $2 for this, and then the other guy says, oh well, here, take my shares, and this is it's just going back and forth between each other when this is happening. It kind of reminds me of um, the Naked Gun, when he's like, do you know this guy from the whatever? He says, hi, who's asking? How about this? With maybe it'll refresh your memory, a $20 bill, right? And then the guy he's interviewing gives it back to him and says, well, or why are you asking? And he gives him the 20. Anyway, you're handing money back and forth to each other. And it's just stupid, right? I mean, who makes money in that? It's the guy that leaves first, kind of. The guy that leaves first. Does that make sense? Yeah. And who loses money? The guy that sticks around too long. So I've got plenty of exits set here when we come out of the halt again at just under 240 and just under 260. And that'll give me majority out. And then after that, I can just, at my own discretion, prune a little bit here and there, however I wish. But what did I say? We're up 30% on TGL. Is anybody else in TGL? TGL, we're up 29.88% since my entry, which is just not even at an incredible price. It's just $1.64. It's just right here. But the thing is moving strong and halted twice. And it looks like, it's going to attempt to try to hit pre-market high. It's going to attempt that. We'll see. The float's rotated 3 times. So coming out of the halt, is everyone exhausted already? I don't know. We'll see. How many people can pass the dollar back and forth before they get tired of it? Colby's up. Yeah, Colby's in it. Marcus is in it. Okay, great. So but just watch out because the end is near. The end is near. That's TGL. And STI is moving around. PETA, fuck you. And then STI, let's pull that up down here, is curving back up some more. I don't have any profit target set on STI, but I would say 44 cents will be probably my first exit. Oh, it looks like I never got my full allocation. That sucks. Anyway, 44 cents is where I'm going to put my first order. Okay. And then where else? Looking at it here, I'd have to do a detailed analysis. Oh, okay. See, TGL is out of the halt and it's acting kind of exhausted. and it did not get up to 239, but it did get up to 231. And if it's possible that it could halt to the downside next. So be careful. People will be pressing the panic/eject button and bailing ship here. Just be careful. Just let's watch it for a minute. Oh, there's huge sells going on. So I'm gonna try and get out, but I don't think I will. I think it's gonna be halting. Yeah, I believe it just halted. It just halted. So there you go. Halted to the downside. So it just depends, how now are the people that wanted to buy it at $1.90 under $2 going to be there, and now it's going to bounce up. So every halt, we're going through a lot of whiplash here on TGL, but luckily I've taken enough profits and I'm still up a bit. But now what I wanted to do is I wanted to figure my secondary exits on STI by looking at the chart here. Right here, 468. So basically 47 cents. So just under 47 cents. I'm going on my ladder and I'm trying to find 47 cents-ish, just under 47 cents. 468, that'd be perfect. And there we go. Now I've got my second exit set. That for upside 52. So just under 53 cents would be the next one. Right, 52.50. And then the final piece, just under 60. And I wish I got more. I got 2/3 allocation. The way it goes sometimes. But I'll be all out by the time if it gets all the way back up there. If being the key word there on that. TTNP not doing its thing. Lunar has leveled off. See if anything else that we're holding from previously is doing any good. Possibly ORGN is having a good day. Let's see. That's a penny stock swing trader in. I mean, look at the continuation on that. Gorgeous. I'm up 29% on that. Beautiful continuation. Of course, I didn't get it down here. I might have even gotten it in on the second or third day with a nice wide risk to stop. 132 is where I got in. See, I even got in on this day. It just goes to show, you know, depending on the situation, you might not be late. Might not be late. And the reason though I did get it there was because it was going to have this bottom reversing breakout, which it is doing right now today, and then end up sliding up this, retracing up against this void space where there won't be any orders. It's essentially blue sky all the way to 367. So that's the reason why I got in. It just has a lot of reward potential. And if I did that 20 times and it only worked out one time, it actually would be worth it because that's a huge differential. That's huge. Like if it got all the way to $4 from here and I got in at $1.32, that subsidizes the whole damn thing. Marcus, $1.34. What's about that? Are you in Origin at $1.34 or STI? Are you talking about STI? No, that's not STI. What are you talking about? $1.20. You're in Origin also? Oh, good job. Good job. Just remember to, risk really small on all these, size really small on all these so that, you've got 50 compartments of these things going if you have to, or 30 or, many, 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 many of them. So that way you can play the statistical side of it instead of riding an emotional roller coaster up and down of giant short-term whiplashy gains and losses. You don't want that. You don't want, oh, STI just pulled back hard. What was that? A different STI again? Pretty hard pull back there. I might cut it. Let's go take a look at it. STI. Nah. I mean, I'm sitting right where I got in essentially. I did want to get more shares. Do I now? Not with a backside, not with a strong drop like that. Not too happy about that. I will probably have to drop it for a loss, having taken some profit already. No, no, I have no profits yet. Okay. Maybe under 35 cents. If it can't hold 35 cents, better off cutting it. We'll see what happens with TGL when it comes out of the halt here, which there it is. It's out of the halt, $1.94, and it's getting bought up under $2. But is it going to get sold off more or supported? We sell she by the seashore. I think it's just a moment of strength before anyone with a good position just hits the get me out of this button. That's it for me right there. All right, so I closed out on TGL, um, locking in a 0.5R essentially. But it could still do more, guys. This TGL is attracting a lot of people. There it goes, it's dropping like crazy. Is attracting, it's probably going to halt again and then move down. So, like, the attention is there. Well, what can it do? Well, there's STI dropping below 35, like I said. So I'm flattening out of that as well. And that is at around break even. So I'm perfectly happy with that one. Flattening out of STI. Lunar just is back and forth, but there's higher lows forming on the intraday chart. I really don't like necessarily where Lunar is at on the daily chart. Way up high here, tons of overhead. And without massive volume and continued demand, it's going to have a hard time cutting through all that overhead, which therefore leaves a gap, which is a lot of stress and pressure on the stock price moving forward. And so, my prediction is that if it doesn't really have a huge move today, Lunar, it's going to spend a month or 3 weeks filling that gap and chopping and basing and filling it all in. But at any moment, if it can get over 510, 511, 510, that's good. That's all it really has to do to have an attempt. There, will it happen? Don't know. PETA just broke down. And I was out of that earlier. PETA. Almost everything now is pretty much broken down. A lot of trades failed today. Um, not all. I mean, I made profits, but um, we had to get out of them sooner than anything amazing happened. Like a 0.5R return. That's maybe you got somebody to second or third base, you bunted, whatever. It's not, you didn't even make it to first base, so but at least it's not bad. It's not bad. You're still in the game. Nobody struck out. Wasn't 3 strikes out. Although other trades did not work out, but I mitigated those sides so much that the 0.5R made up for several of them, and then other ones are just a couple of minor 0.2R losses here or there for punches. It's just, yeah, hey, every round, you don't win every round, you know. So it's all about the long game and the bigger fight. And this day ain't over yet, also. And as well, I'm getting lots of theta return on my put credit spreads. So those are help trickling and making up for things. And also, by the way, rates keep dropping. And I am fully allocated in bonds. And so as rates drop, their face value goes up. A lot of people don't know that. Many of you have heard me talk about that before. But as rates drop, the face value of the bonds go up. So a lot of people think, why would I buy bonds, at 4.25%? 4.25%, like, or even 5% at one point, you could get them 5%, like, oh, wow. A lot of people just don't want to chase 5%. I'm not in it for the 5%, but I'll tell you what, that's been a wonderful bonus for the last year and a half or 2 years that I've been in the bonds on all of my money, because you can 80% margin against them. So all of the money in my investing account. So a 4.25% is my my yield across everything, across all my averaging in. A 4.25% return over the last 2 years has been just a nice bonus. It's nice to have that. And you can trade against the bonds with stocks and put credit spreads and everything else. So it's been sort of a no-brainer and extra trickle in income. And in the meantime, as rates drop, then your capital starts to appreciate. And that's the trade I'm in. And the interesting thing is, if something terrible happens, the bonds go up as well. So they're either going to go up because we start federally cutting rates, which is the federally mandated way this is going to go and has been slated as such for since the beginning and is typical, and that's typical cycle stuff every 15 years. Or they'll go up because something bad happens on the stock market. So they're either going to go up or they're going to go up. And in the meantime, I'm making 4.25% on my money. So there you go. So as rates continue to drop, I'm also seeing an increase in my portfolio, which decreases my margin and increases the amount, decreases my margin. What do you call it? Deficit or margin, the equity balance, whatever that is. So it opens up more room. It's more money. It's more margin, more trading against it all. Another interesting thing about bonds is you don't ever have to sell them if they're U.S. Treasury bonds. You don't ever have to sell them necessarily. You can use them as a down payment on a home, and you wouldn't have to sell them. That is an amazing trick because let's say you have to put 200,000 down on I don't know what size home you guys. I think the average American home now is like 450,000. So if you had to put 20% down, 80,000. Okay, so let's call it 100,000. If you have to put 100,000 down on a property, that's $100,000 you don't get to use, right? But if instead you bought 30-year treasury bonds at 4 or 5% yield, you can use those as the collateral that gets put down and you get to yield the 4.5%. Oh yeah. And so you get that money, every year, and that helps pay for things. And at least now your $100,000 is working for you a little bit. Now you've already margined against it, so you're going to need other money to trade with and stuff. But that's a fact. But you want to be with a full service brokerage that does mortgages, because you're probably going to have them give you the mortgage and use those treasury bonds as collateral. It's not uh, I mean, legally it's allowed, but not every bank is going to be okay with that, so but there's how many banks are there that do mortgages? Tons. RJ, you just joined in almost at the tail end of the stream, as you probably know, and I'm almost done. And you caught me talking about bonds again. But that's because rates are looking like they're coming down. We were trading TGL, STI, PRFX, EVOC, Lunar, Holo, a lot of opportunities this morning, but none of them really worked out. They all are just sort of meh. And no, we did have one that worked out pretty well. Which one was that? TGL. We got a pretty decent. I don't know if anybody else did better than 0.5R on TGL. It kept halting many times. Did anybody get better than 0.5R on TGL? That's what I got. If you did better than me, congratulations. Good job. And that's perfectly fine. Many of you will do better than me on many trades. I'm happy if you do. Don't worry. But really need those rates to come on down. Yes, sir. But yeah, I got 0.5R out of squeezed 0.5R out of TGL. And then there's just a bunch of other trades that are like 0.2R losses and 0.3 losses and mitigated losses. And so we're sitting on kind of a still in TTNP. And is that good or bad? Let's see. Oh, all right. Yeah, and that's fine. I mean, if you, where did you risk your stop to? What no, where's your stop got on Colby on TTMP? $8. Beautiful. I love you picking that round number. It's swing tradable at that number. That's below, the low of the day. If you look at the pre-market, there was a lot of bouncing at the $8 level. I think it's a very smart level, super smart level, $8 right there. So I don't know where you got in. Maybe you got in at 950 or something. That was what I said. Oh, all right. Well, anyway, yeah, that is a good prudent stop level, for many reasons. And where'd you get in? Like 950 or something? You're probably up a little bit right now if that is the case. But here's the thing. But anyway, where'd you get in? Colby, what's your entry price? Is it not good? But as long as you risk sized 960, 960, that's a good price. That's fine. That's right over this pre-market pivot right here. Perfectly fine, especially for the thing it was moving, especially because it was moving. Um, but here's the thing that I don't like is that backside strong movement. And it's below VWAP. I mean, it could just can't get above VWAP every time since pre-market. So it has a lot of negative things about it. So yeah, just be careful. Um, I think it could just do that again, and then you'd be getting out at like 980 because you could just get another one of these panic button drops. Traders are still in it. And regardless, let's say everybody's here and they got in it and we're all passing money back and forth. Boom, a shelf offering shares could be coming in, dilution. That I'm sure that's why it can't get the fuck up. And it has been hammered every time it tried. And how many times does it need to fail, you know, and halt down before you move on? Things gotta work out. Sometimes you have to take a bad day. You just have to get out and say, all right, well, today I'm not making money. But again, the day is not over. But yeah, I'm gonna look real quick on dilution tracker. Let's see. I'm pretty sure this puppy is I got a lot of dilution going on. TTNP. Look at that. They constantly diluting the number of shares. Not too bad in the last year or so. Um, only about a 20% dilution, but they do. But look at their cash position. It got poor. They raised some money. It got poor again. They raised some money through dilution. They raised some money through dilution. It got poor. Then they raised some money through dilution, and they're poor again. And it's getting down to the bottom. And prices popped a lot today. I mean, it's pretty much a guarantee that they're going to be. Here's the offerings. There's two outstanding offerings still, an $11 million one and a $10 million one. And oh, this one was withdrawn rather. So there's only one, 10 million shares, $10 million rather. And today's been so far a $56 million day. So maybe they're raising money into all these. I mean, definitely they're raising money into all these pops. But they're going to run out maybe. But yeah, what do you do then? I've got how many of you are here right now? All right. You're a company who loves raising money, especially when the price goes way up in your stock and you do it every goddamn time. And here you are, you're having an unbelievable volume day like never before. So many people are interested in buying shares of your company, and you just sold all of your outstanding shares into, you diluted them all back and you raised a bunch of cash. And yet there's just like, you've never seen this many people with this much demand before. What do you do if you're a piece of shit company? Crap motherfucking CEOs. Uh, what do they call them? Um, MBP. What do they call those people? The MBA. What do you do if you're a shithead MBA head of a piece of shit company that continues to dilute their investors down and steal all their money at every pop? You do another offering. If you, I not only do I think you do another offering, I think you do two. Today, I think we'll see a midday offering, and then we'll see if that gets held up, they're going to do another one in after hours. You know what I'm saying? Like the writing's on the wall. Get used to it, guys. Michael, everybody, these companies are pieces of shit. And this is a biotech at that. So that is the actual playbook. And everybody knows it. It's not just, it's like even the people who are buying into this are like, yeah, yeah, I know. Yeah, for sure. That's why I invested. Take my money, please make the cure for cancer. The idiots believe in these biotechs. That's the play. That's how they work. And then those companies, they're basically pre-IPO. Remember, we talked about it before. It's like a venture capitalist stage. It's not like that, Randy. They're biotechs. They're real. Like, they're just, they shouldn't be public. You know what I'm saying? They're sort of venture capital stage companies. Yeah. And but all the other ones, penny stocks, if they're not biotech, all the other penny stocks are Aerotine Industries for sure. um but but the biotechs, that's the playbook, and everyone, that is why they're there. That's why everyone's like, yeah, yeah, give me a little piece of that. That sounds really promising. The people who know their pharmacy, know their biotech, uh you know engineers, chemical, whatever, whoever they are, they're very smart investors, and they pick the right companies. But they're in it for the long haul. They're like, yeah, I want to give them a little. They should do well, and they get some shares, and then a year or two or three or five later, they see a return, or 7 years, or 10 years later, and that's what they're doing. But it's literally the playbook. They like are okay with that on the buy side. And then on the sell side, the company itself is like, yeah, that's the playbook. Give us our money. And they dilute into it all and raise cash that way. And the people who are on the demand side who understand that playbook are perfectly happy with that, because all of a sudden now that company has enough money for a 3 more years of runway. And these people believe in the whatever that they're developing. So it is similar to a shit stock, but it's not. They're actually doing something. It's more pre-IPO venture capitalist type stage. You're expected to lose your money, and it's like a 50 to 1 long shot. Venture capitalists take 50 to 1, 100 to 1, even 200 to 1, and 1,000 to 1 type long shots. Venture capitalists. So it's not very mature type of not investing, but type of, well, time for the company yet. The company's not mature yet, and it could have been around for 15 years, and it just keeps going like that. Hey, there goes TTMP. Whoever was in it, hopefully I didn't talk you out of it. But you should be taking profits on those pops like that, because not only is everybody going to, but also the company is going to be diluting into that. So you have twice as much pressure from the top as you have coming in from the bottom. And so you have to be extremely aggressive about making sure you take your profits. If you're looking for a big ultimate breakout and some home run, stop. You should be on a daily basis. You should just be trying for base hits, and you'll accidentally get those home runs. But something like this, base hits. There it is. I don't know if it can get over this. It's going to be heavily sold into. If it can get over this spike, like if somehow whoever keeps selling into higher price knows anything about trading, and they're like, well, wait a minute, maybe it's going to pop over 11.25 and then I'll do it. Trust me, those people don't know anything about that. They're just like accountants that sell into good prices. Oh, it's at that high price again, I'll sell it. They don't look at a chart. They're not looking at a chart. They just know price level. It's just numbers. So anyway, even if they had some kind of an ace maverick trader running the selling of their diluted shares into everything, they're going to sell when it pops over 11 this pivot here. If they went like, you know what, hang on, let's let this run free for a minute. So yeah, be careful. I took the bump and ran. I have to head out soon. So there you go. Exactly. Yeah. Um, Yeah, I'd be very careful with this TTNP. It's biotech and dilution is on the table. And I think they're probably going to do more offerings because this is a really high price that they haven't seen since, I mean, outside of a spike since August of last year. So it's been a year since they've seen levels like this and they're starving. They're cash, they're at the end of their cash supply. They need to raise money from somewhere. Wow, what a great day on the market. Might as well take it from the market. So I believe another offering is probably coming any minute. They're working on it right now. They're drawing up the legal fee. They're like, oh, that'll be, the lawyers are saying that'll be, $50,000, $40,000 to write up, and the CEO's liquidating this or that, and then everybody's getting it all in line, and you're getting it all written up, and then as soon as possible, they will drop the new offering, and I bet you it'll be a big fucking one. Probably be a big one because they probably don't know what they're doing. If they made it small, they could keep the price above $9. But if it's going to be a big one, like a $30 million raise, which it might be, that'll drop price down to $7 or $6. And just took the last of it. Good job. Yeah. Oh, here it is. Yeah, popping over that 1150 level. RJ, I sent you, I wrote you a little note in the penny stocking group there. I was saying that probably during, oh, you put a check mark. Was that you? Yeah, you did. Okay, you read it. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, during class, I might just, use you as a sounding board. I might say things like, what would you do, RJ, here? And that will be to sort of show whether or not it's possible to really see this, to see those things. So I might do a lot of that. And so sorry, sorry to embarrass you and make everyone you think. I mean, hopefully no one's going to think poorly of RJ and be an ass about it and be like, teacher's pet. No, he's an experience. He's been with us for many years, and it'll be really valuable to sort of maybe go back and forth in a different format for class. It's nice to have RJ. So RJ, don't you forget, but if you don't show up for class, I know, right? But if you don't show up for class, um, yeah, that's fine, whatever. But don't forget Thursday night. Tomorrow, the FOMC, the Fed will be releasing some minutes at the close of market. Today already, we're dropping on the market from the nice open that it had. But it's probably neither here nor there. That just creates a doji. Let's look at it really quickly. Tomorrow at 2 p.m., by the way. Yeah, look at that. It's just a nothing. It's just a nothing. And like I said, I'm positioned and waiting for a breath, to happen on the market, some rest, for it to do another. It needs a damn. I mean, if what are we forming here? A W, a kind of W. We're not going to go back down there, but we need some pullback. This rally is very long in the tooth, but if you erase the yen risk out of it, then it's only 1 day long, right? If you just erase the whole bullshit yen carry trade margin, global margin call, then we've just been moving up for a day. But truth be told, you can't ignore the fact that a huge amount of money was invested at the bottom there. I did so. Anyone who's smart did. And perfectly fine to eventually find a profit point. Where it's going to be, it starts with one large trader and then, it starts snowballs from there. And how far will that take us back? Who knows? We'll see. Probably 30% retrace, something like, down here. But we need it. This is the gap. Look at this gap I drew up here a long time ago when it happened. As a matter of fact, I drew this across and I drew it all the way to about the election. And I'm thinking, that's going to be an interesting area to get through. But by the way, on the S&P 500, we're probably really close. Yeah, there we are, really close to all-time highs. And of course, if you just focus on value stocks, yeah, we're nearly at all-time highs. So the economy is healthy. Safe stocks are healthy. It was just we're looking for the start of that business cycle, the growth sector to engage and with Kamala Harris talking about raising corporate tax rates from 20% to 28%. That is what, 28 divided by 20. So raising rates, raising the amounts that corporations would moving forward have to pay by 40% more than they've been used to for the last 40 years. That could put a little bit of a hamper into, you got to dial that in a little bit. Analysts are probably dialing that in and discounting for the potential a Democratic presidency. So that's got to get factored in. And everything's on a probability spectrum like that. It's all on a bell curve. And then you've got the um, conservative presidency factored in. And then you've got kind of either way, we're going to probably have a rate cut very soon. And we've got some minutes being released tomorrow, which should indicate whether or not rate cuts are on track, looking better than expected for the head of schedule, maybe it's coming up sooner, or if they're going to have, if there's any inkling of that we're going to keep them flat for a little bit longer and we're going to push back that first rate cut a little bit more. So we'll get that seasoning tomorrow on the market and at 2 p.m. And I think today and tomorrow, it would be just stupid to act in any big way as smart money. You can hold through anything pretty much as smart money, except for maybe a geopolitical event. But barring that, we'll be waiting. Everybody's going to be waiting, Doji like, for tomorrow's information release at 2 p.m. And then JPOW speaks, I think, Friday morning at 10 a.m. So the last half of this week, uh, everyone's waiting for full conviction. So it may be Friday after JPOW speaks, let alone tomorrow at 2 p.m. before the market really has any conviction. And then that conviction, whatever that result is, hopefully will follow through and be next week's conviction. All right, you guys, that's the morning session. And Colby, good job on that trade with TGL, I think, or TTMP. I think you did quite well on that. Good job. All right, have a great morning, everybody, and I'll see you back in the group. All right, you bet.